Half my advertising spend is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. I've seen this quote attributed to both US retail magnate John Wanamaker and to UK industrialist Lord Laverhume. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Basically, what these giants of industry are saying is that marketing can be unpredictable, and it's hard to know exactly if you're getting the return on your marketing spend as you'd hoped. And both of these gentlemen built quite an empire using marketing in the 19th century. But as Bob Dylan sang not too long ago, times they are a-changing. Today you can measure performance, track behavior, and influence outcomes on your marketing spend. But to do all that, you need to measure, you need to establish goals, and you need to continue to improve your campaigns based on the data that you receive. How do you do that? When it comes to digital marketing, your website and your digital campaigns, you can use Google Analytics. But that can get overwhelming real fast. If you've logged into Google Analytics, you'll know that the interface is quite complex and there's a lot of data in there. But what if I told you the metrics you need to pay attention to in order to drive your digital marketing, to help you determine where to spend your advertising dollars and ultimately know which part of your marketing is working? Well, allow me to clear up the clutter and show you which metrics are important for your business and how you can use those metrics to increase traffic, increase conversion, and ultimately grow your business. Welcome to the latest episode of Corner Your Market. I'm your host, Silas Kinide. In this podcast, I talk about all things digital marketing, from website design and development to SEO and PPC, as well as paid advertising, email marketing, social media, and anything in between. If it's related to digital marketing, I'll talk about it. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. So tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. You'll gain some practical insights, new strategies, tactics, and tools that will help you grow your business. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and select the podcast app of your choice. Then you can hit subscribe within those apps. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review in the app you use to listen. Today, I want to talk to you about the 5 key Google Analytics metrics that you need to understand in order to really take your digital marketing to the next level. When you log into Google Analytics, there's obviously a lot of metrics that you'll see on your screen. The dashboard is a little overwhelming, or can be a little bit overwhelming for people that are not used to it. On the left-hand side, you'll see main categories of items such as acquisition, audience, behavior, conversions, and things like that, and even real-time traffic. You'll also see customization and things like that. There's also attribution, discover, admin, and that's on the left-hand sidebar. The metrics are usually in the middle of your screen, where you can see things like users, revenue, conversion rates, sessions, and things like that. So it can get a little overwhelming. There is also the active users in the last 5 minutes kind of section on the right-hand side as well. So there's a lot to absorb. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to do on this platform. So where do you get started? What are the main things that you need to know? What are the things that really make an impact on your business? What are the things that you need to be focused on? What are things that are leading indicators, like I've talked about in my previous podcasts? What are some leading indicators that really can make things actionable for you in your business and things like that? So let's get started with what the 5 key things are that you need to be paying attention to when it comes to Google Analytics. The first thing, obviously, is traffic. The users, how many users are you getting? That's really important, right? The whole point of having a website is so that you have visitors coming to your website, learning about your products, learning about your services. You have visitors, right? Without visitors, it's kind of a losing game at the end of the day. So you need to check on users. You need to check on new users. You need to check on repeat users and things like that to get a sense for how many people are coming back, who are new, who are the visitors, first-time visitors, and things like that. So that's one of the first things, and that's usually under audience in the left-hand menu. If you click on audience, you'll see a section for seeing that kind of information. You can see a trend graph. How is it trending? You can change that by date range, last 28 days, last 30 days, last month. You can even compare against previous periods. So you can say, let's say you're looking at the last 30 days of data, then you can look at the previous 30 days and then compare the two. You can also go to the previous year and say the same 30 days this year versus same 30 days last year and see how you're doing. So it's important to look at it from those angles as well, because there is seasonality to website visitors. Like for instance, if you're let's say you're selling snowshoes, the winter you're going to get more visitors than in the spring or in the summer. So how does this winter compare to last winter is going to be a lot more meaningful to you than how does the last 30 days compare to the previous 30 days. So anyway, so just kind of keep that in mind. Depending on your business, you want to look at previous period, previous year, and things like that to kind of get a sense for what the trends are, anything that might be anomalies in what you're seeing. Sometimes when you're looking at new visitor information, you'll see spikes, and that's where maybe you sent out an e-blast, or maybe you did something that maybe you're at a trade show and you gave a lot of business cards out, and all of a sudden you have 30 people come to your site right away. So those are the kinds of things that you can spot, you can see, and it gives you a really good idea of the visitor flow trends, what's working, what's not working, or what's influencing people to come to your website. So that's on the visitor side. So obviously that is one of the main reasons why you have Google Analytics, is to see that kind of information. Now, the second thing that is very important is traffic sources. And I'm a big one on this one because I really like to know where people are coming to your site, how they're finding out about your site, because that really helps you understand where to put your efforts. And there's a couple of categories. There's actually a few categories, not just a couple. There is direct traffic, referral traffic, organic traffic, social traffic, paid traffic, and then there's an other category where everything else that's outside of those kind of falls in. So and a note, I'll mention this towards the end as well, but a note here is that these are all related to Universal Analytics, UA Analytics. I know that UA Analytics is being sunset in the middle of next year, 2023, and then GA4 is going to be the de facto standard for Google Analytics moving forward. And some of these things will change there. So I just wanted to point that out, because some of these are events in GA4, and it's organized a lot differently. And I'll cover that when things get a little bit more closer to the launch of GA4. So stay tuned for that later on. But anyway, going back to traffic sources, some of these are pretty easy to understand. Direct traffic is anybody that types in your URL in the browser and comes to your website. So mybusiness.com, somebody types that in, comes to your site. That's direct traffic. And those are usually people that already know about you. So it's good to know how many of those are coming to your site, just to kind of get an idea for how many already know about you, right? They copy pasted your URL, they memorized your URL, or they maybe heard about your URL. This one's an interesting one, because if they heard your URL in let's say a radio campaign, or maybe somebody told them about it and then they typed it in, so it's an awareness vehicle as well. So it basically says that they've become aware of your business. The next one is referral traffic, and this is where people followed a link from another website. So let's say you've been doing some link building and you have links coming on some university sites, if you're, let's say, an educator or something like that, and people are coming to your site. Knowing how many people are clicking on third-party links to come to your site is important as well. It gives you an idea for how well your brand is perceived and where it's being referenced. And then the third one is organic traffic. This is obviously where people are coming from search engines. And let's be honest, there's really only one search engine nowadays. I used to talk about Bing in this part of the conversation, but nowadays I don't. It's pretty much Google. So organic traffic is how many people are typing in certain keywords. It doesn't tell you what keywords, because Google changed that many, many years ago. They don't show that in Google Analytics. It doesn't tell you what keywords people are typing to get to your site, but it does tell you that they're coming from organic traffic, right? And then the fourth one is social traffic. So Facebook, Instagram, some of these other social traffic sources that people are following your links. Maybe you put something, the classic Instagram link in bio. How many people are clicking on that to get to your site and things like that. So that's the social traffic. And then the paid traffic are, let's say you're doing a pay-per-click campaign, or you have UTM tracking codes installed in some of your paid ads somewhere, and then that's coming through from the paid side as well. And then the other is just other, anything that doesn't fall within those 5 categories. UTM traffic is also very interesting because if you add UTM codes to your links anywhere, then that comes in, and then you can categorize it by different campaigns. So if you have a very well organized campaign name and things like that, then that can come through as well. So anyway, so that's the traffic sources. Really important to keep track of what's driving your traffic. And then the third metric is bounce rate. Now, bounce rate is a little controversial in my opinion because bounce rate basically says how many people came to your site and then what percentage just left after one page. In my personal opinion, professional opinion, there's no such thing as a good or bad bounce rate necessarily, because let's say the bounce rate on your contact us page is going to be very high because people came to your contact us page to find a phone number, they found directions, they found your name or whatever it is that they're looking for. So the bounce rate on that page is going to be high, right? So if people find what they need and they leave, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So certain pages are going to have higher bounce rates than others, but overall your homepage should have a decent bounce rate. And I'm not going to tell you what that decent bounce rate is without really understanding your business. And then the fourth one is average session duration. This is how much time are users spending on your website. You want this to be as high as possible, because if you think about it, normal user behavior is that they'll come to your website, and if they don't find what they're finding, or they don't find what they're looking for, they just leave, right? So they're not going to snoop around and try to find what they need. So there's going to be a certain behavior where if they do really like what they see and they want to learn more about your product and your service, they're going to dwell. They're going to visit multiple pages. The session duration is just going to be high. So keep an eye on that metric as well, because that gives you a really good idea for how well your website is doing the job of selling. And obviously your website is your salesperson that should be selling 24/7. And then the fifth metric is more on the top landing pages. It's always a good idea to keep an eye on the top landing pages, on where people are coming to the site on your page, which page is ranking well, which page isn't. If you have a blog, this gives you an idea for which blog posts are actually performing and which blog posts are not. So keep an eye on those metrics as well. And the standard metrics that you keep track of on those are visits, time, session duration, pages per session, and things like that. So anyway, there you have it. Those are the 5 key metrics and areas that you need to keep track of on your website, metrics to make sure that your site is performing well. And so to recap, I would say traffic, how many people are coming to your site, traffic sources, how are they getting there, the different ways that they could get there, the bounce rate, the percentage of people that are just staying there for a certain amount of time, less than 30 seconds usually, and the ones that leave after one page visit. The fourth is average session duration, and that one is just how much time are they spending on your site. And then the fifth one is the top landing pages. So keep an eye on those 5 metrics, and you should be able to continually improve and continually make progress towards the business goals that you have for your company. And I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to mention it again. UA, Universal Analytics, which is the current version of Google Analytics, is going away on July 1st, 2023. So you need to have GA4 in place before then. So keep that in mind. A lot of these metrics and their importance and how they're shown is going to be changing when GA4 comes into play. So please refer to my future podcast on this once I make that. But this specific episode is regarding UA and 5 key metrics that are important to managing your website. So there you have it. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager at a company, or an entrepreneur, please tune in weekly. You'll gain some insights, tips, and tricks, and be a bit more enlightened when it comes to digital marketing. I promise you, if you implement the strategies, tactics, and tools I've discussed in this podcast, your business will definitely grow. Please subscribe to this podcast. You can do so by going to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and subscribe with the listening platform of your choice. That URL again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Don't forget to like and share this episode with your friends and colleagues. Also, don't forget to leave a review. Those mean a lot to me and can help others that would benefit from the information to share. Finally, I would love to hear from you. I love getting listener emails. So if you have questions, feedback, or any general comment about the topics I discuss on this podcast, feel free to send me an email. I will be sure to share and discuss your feedback on the air if it will benefit our listening audience. You can write to me at connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Just put listener comment in the subject line. That email again is connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. And again, please put listener comment in the subject line. Thanks for listening today. I look forward to being back next week. Until then, be good and do good.